Everybody went into the Underdark and never came back alive. So the session's canceled. Welcome. I'm back. I'm hosting. It's me, Sir Perseus Galaxinus over here. My reading book of Perseus knowledge Galaxinus. And lore. Yeah, I'm changing it up.
He's just adding syllables for no reason.
Here with my bubble pipe and my nice fancy red robes to read you all a bedtime story of how I
your Hugh Hefner jacket
messed up playing D&D with my friends. Here today, I'm here with the boys as always, Josh and Isaiah.
See, this is
yep,
why
I was waiting. That's why
there's a system.
I wanted to wait.
No, you're supposed to say name pause.
Nah, I don't like that anymore. I'm bored of that now.
Why?
We've grown beyond this.
It's for the listeners' sanity.
Nah.
Help them identify the person who is speaking.
No.
Because there is no visual component.
I am boy A here with boy B and boy C.
All right.
This is a Matt session. I don't know why you didn't think this was going to go fucking tits up from the start.
I asked for simple things. Very simple.
Well,
things.
You know what else is really simple, Josh? You want to do the intro plug?
Oh, thank God! I don't know why I was terrified for some reason. I'm not really sure why now in hindsight.
That segue did.
Sam's lucky I don't have control over the Discord soundboard.
That segue absolutely did not check out. I was so confused there. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, give us a like or a follow, or no, sorry, a follow or a subscribe on your platform of choice that you are currently listening on. You don't even have to hit the pause button. You could just hit follow. Bing, bang, boom. Also, actually, because I just thought about it, if you say to yourself, "Well, I'm already following. I can't follow again," tell your friends. Email it to your grandmother. Tell your mom. Tell someone else to follow. All right. Grandma might be into D&D. You don't know.
Maybe.
Dame Judi Dench is. Fun fact.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, M from fucking James Bond.
I don't know who that is.
Have you never seen a James Bond movie?
I've never watched a single James Bond movie in my life.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I'm slowly starting to get into the Daniel Craig movies.
Nice. We gotta watch GoldenEye. GoldenEye's great.
I've seen GoldenEye. I've seen that. That's like the one James Bond film I've seen.
it is the quintessential Bond film.
That's the one with Sean Bean too, or no?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm not mixing them up. Like I recently saw Casino Royale, and I'm like, holy shit, this is great. And then I just haven't gone back to like watch the other 5? Question mark? Right? There's 5 in the Daniel Craig movies.
Casino Royale, Skyfall. I
want to say 5, but I feel like that's wrong for some reason.
Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and was the last one.
Quantum something? Oh no, you already said that.
God damn it! Now I gotta look this up. Yeah, look, that's a picture of the Dench.
That's cool. I didn't know she was playing D&D.
Yeah, fucking Vin Diesel taught her to play.
Of course.
I did actually just recently hear about that. What was I listening to? I was listening to another podcast, and they mentioned how Vin Diesel taught her how to play D&D.
I keep forgetting how much of a giant nerd Vin Diesel is.
Raging nerd. Oh, it was Midnight Local. Greg mentioned how Vin Diesel
I was
taught
figuring
her.
it was Midnight Local. Yeah,
that's what it was.
So Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die. That's it. Yeah, 5 movies.
Okay.
God, it makes me sad that we're never going to get Idris Elba as. Let me not say that. We probably won't get him as Bond, and I really want him to be Bond.
He should be.
I agree.
Also, speaking of actors getting thrown into roles that I would love a lot, but I don't think will happen. I was watching a stream, and they were talking about who should potentially be Lex Luthor in like the newer Superman movies, since they're gonna, they're redoing the DC or whatever the fuck James Gunn has got planned.
Yeah.
And one of them mentioned Dave Bautista as Lex Luthor, and that is now my absolute number one top pick.
Up fucking
no, that's genius. No, pause. Think about it for a minute. That's actually a big brain choice.
maybe a different take.
Sell me this sales pitch, please.
Think about disregard your mind from Dave Bautista as Drax, because I know that's every. Don't think about him as Drax. Think about.
Well, I grew up with him as a wrestler, so like I go way back on Dave Bautista's
also
career.
as a wrestler. But what was there was a movie he was in recently where he was like a suit wearing like spy style like bad guy, and it was shit. What movie was it? Oh no!
Is it the one where like they're the cult and they gotta like the two husbands gotta kill each other to stop the end of the world?
No.
There's someone at the door, I think is what it's called.
No.
I have no idea.
Last I push Riddick Blade Runner. In Blade Runner, he played a very Lex Luthor-esque character in 2049. And somebody mentioned that, and I was like, that's.
Huh.
I could see it. Also his character in Dune, although he didn't get a ton of screen time. There's a vibe there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rabon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a real big brain play. Also, he specifically said he's older now. He's like, I can't keep up this size anymore. Like, I'm going down. I don't care what anybody says for health reasons, which is totally true, by the way. Side note, a lot of people are like, oh, but he's jacked. It's not like he's fat. Yeah, it's not actually about necessarily the fat, but once you get to a certain age, it is the physical weight your body cannot handle, regardless of its muscle weight or fat weight.
Oh yeah,
that's why people
will fall apart. Your hips will turn to dust. Yeah.
Your organs actually can't handle a lot of it. Is what a lot of the problem. Like things with like blood flow and shit. Your organs cannot sustain a lot of it because of your size. That's why a lot of people who are, like the gigantism and all that. That's why they get a lot of those problems.
Another wrestler turned actor, John Cena, also like if you go before and after acting, is giant difference. Like he went from human triangle to average man.
Well, he's
sir, I wouldn't call him an average man. Have
absolutely
you seen
not average man. Absolutely not.
Were you
the
one who didn't like Suicide Squad?
Both films, yeah.
You don't like either of them?
No.
I've only seen the first one, which was terrible.
Yeah, the
first one's pretty bad. Second one, bad, but not as bad as the first one. I will give it that. Had a lot of cool ideas in there. Didn't stick the at least for me, it didn't stick the landing.
John Cena, not average man at all. But Dave Bautista, Lex Luthor, I think that checks out. He also has the look. I mean, come on. You've seen the man in the suit.
Bald.
Big bald dude that can rock a suit. He totally has the look.
Interesting. You know what's I was thinking about this today because we were talking about DC in Marvel last night, and I was like, well, my favorite DC heroes are the Green Lanterns. Not really anyone in particular, but like all of them. The Lantern Corps is like the coolest shit. Yeah, no one can tell me otherwise. And I was like, who would I want to be like our generation's quintessential Green Lantern, John Stewart? And my my brain went, Will Smith.
Absolutely
probably not going to happen. No.
I also don't think that's a good pick.
No. It's just the first place my brain went.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Mackie would do so fucking good as John Stewart.
Yeah,
but he's Falcon, and he's probably not going to do it. And I wish he would.
I could see that.
I want more people. I would say Lance Reddick.
Oof. Yeah.
Prize.
He would have been a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, let's just have The Rock. Let's have The Rock.
Absolutely not.
The Polynesian play the traditional black role.
Absolutely not.
No? Oh, okay.
No. I don't even think he would do a good job, TBH.
I mean...
Also, side note, look at this image of Batista. Tell me this isn't big, rich supervillain energy. Come on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's got the vibe.
I'm not completely sold yet.
Not Luthor, but...
Anyway, none of this has to do with anything.
None of this has to do with today's topic and or recap. I don't know. But yeah, today, because I'm hosting once again, sitting here in my nice rose bubble pipe and all, little glass of wine, I'm going to be retelling the story of my my 3-year long campaign. Been doing it in a couple episodes. It's been pretty fun, pretty fun. I don't know. Have these been pretty entertaining for you guys to hear, like the mishaps and the piecing shit together last minute of Matt's struggle with D&D?
They've certainly been something. I mean,
yeah.
To be fair, we are biased, or not biased, but we're sort of influenced in a certain direction because we've heard bits and pieces prior.
Yeah.
True.
But
true.
you know, it's good for other people to hear what the chaos of running is like, especially when you're doing it, you know, seat of your pants, as Matt did with the big fucking energy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's funny. Like, I was talking about this the other day, where I was like, these stories are always super entertaining, but I don't know what to do when you tell them, because I don't want to be like, the whole time.
Right. Well, that's why I like to stop and ask questions and stuff, or like be like, oh, this is what I learned as a DM. Like, so that way, A, gives you guys, you know, you guys can talk, because I feel bad just kind of hogging up the fucking spotlight all the time.
No, that's fine. I mean, like, this is what we signed up for. That's okay. I just, I don't want to, like, do weird laugh out loud moments like I usually do, even though for the most part I'm not doing them on purpose. You'll get like a wild reaction out of me, and I'll just sort of cackle for a second, or I'll just be quiet, and I'm like, well, neither of these are good, so I have to find a middle ground. I haven't yet, but I'm trying.
Yes, I think some of this stuff I've actually mentioned in a villain episode. I won't go. Well, I'll try not to go too crazy in depth, because this is the Drow arc, I guess, the fucking Menzo Branson, or as my players dubbed it, because they didn't like the name Webtropolis, Webtown.
They didn't like the name Menzo Branson?
No, they wanted to, like, Matt, this is our homebrew campaign. Let's call it something else, like Webtown. And I'm like, no, let's try and do something different. It's like, oh, Webtropolis. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Then, yeah, sure. Why not?
Did you tell them that Webtropolis is a dumb name?
Yes. Well, I was the one that threw out the name Webtropolis.
Okay, so let me tell you, Webtropolis is a dumb name.
Oh, I know. They loved it. Okay. They loved it.
Fair enough.
They're like, Menzo Branson, too complicated. Webtropolis?
I hate the mental image of a council of newly appointed drow before they had established their great city, and everyone sits down and goes, we need a name for our new establishment. And someone looks the others dead in the eyes and says, Webtropolis.
And then they threw him out the window.
I absolutely hate that mental image that you have now created in your setting. It's
really the boardroom meeting with like all the comic book that you see, where it's just like a bunch of people, and then one dude gets yeeted out the window.
Awful. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that mental image.
Yeah, this was the big. So I feel like this is probably, besides the beginning of the campaign, or not the beginning of the campaign, the second half of the campaign, where I was kind of like doing more of a West March stuff. The Drow city, this twisted urban environment. This is probably one of, if not the other, most fun I've had as a DM running. Because I basically, and this is again going to go into a little bit of how much I wrote way too fucking much. I basically made an entire separate adventure. Like, if I took all my notes and everything that we did, this would probably be one of those, the Wizards of the Coast, like, hardback adventure modules. Just just not as professionally written.
I think I've said it every episode, but I cannot get over how much you wrote for these games.
Yeah,
because I just didn't. I literally, like, my. You could fit all of my notes for my entire campaign on like a stack of Post-it notes.
That's a deranged statement.
Like, if you wrote the Post-it notes in really big font, you could fit it on a stack of Post-it notes.
Yeah. Well, I love writing.
Yeah.
Well, Post-it note. Yeah. I mean, I kind of, so I do sometimes some of the same stuff. Like, I'll write little sticky notes and Post-it notes and like, what are those, like index cards of random notes and stuff that I'll save for myself, and then I don't think Isaiah's onto.
I don't think Isaiah's saying he actually wrote it on Post-it notes. I think what he's saying is there's that little information written down.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you just keep everything in your head.
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I got full brain. I got to put it on paper, otherwise I'm gonna forget.
I probably could if I really had to, but literally, why?
Yeah.
Why make your life that much harder? It's not that hard to jot down a couple of sentences every time you have a new idea.
Yeah.
This is correct. However, don't want to.
Strong argument. I can't.
I hate it here.
But yeah, so way back a couple episodes ago, when my players originally, when the drow attacked them and everything, and they, the drow raided their home and attacked their NPCs, my players at that point were like, all right, Matt, before they went off to deal with the Thieves Guild, they originally wanted to go after the drow. And that was when I originally told them, like, hey guys, I don't have the Underdark prepped. Give me some time and I will prep it for you. To which then my players were like, okay, well, fine. We'll deal with the Thieves Guild, but then eventually we're going to go kill those drow in the Underdark and fuck them up. I'm like, okay. So they gave me a lot of time to kind of like prep and research and, and then again, I ended up making way too fucking much. But it was fun. Like they really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I got to like really kind of put because I think at this point, this is around the 2-year mark, a little over 2-year mark of the game. So this is when I was like, okay, I'm more confident as a GM. I kind of know what I'm doing. At least I like to think I kind of know what I'm doing now. And this is like my time to like, all right, fine. Let's actually like write an adventure and see if I can do this and like not just like BS shit out of my ass all the time. So a lot of the stuff right now, like I used a lot of inspiration. There's a 4th edition book that most of my ideas and a lot of my prepping for this came from, which was the 4th edition Menzo Brandon's City of Intrigue book. And it is a huge inspiration source for drow. And basically, if you want to run like a Game of Thrones campaign in the Underdark, because it's all about the different houses and factions and backstabbing and plotting to rise up and be the superior drow house. Because drow, they kind of separate themselves in different factions and everything. So, like, it's a lot of political intrigue.
Sound like a bunch of nerds.
Yeah. They're always trying to get one over on each other. And drow also, drow are, I know I've kind of mentioned it a bunch of times, but drow are not one of, if not my favorite species, race, whatever you want to say, in D&D. Just because, they have so much cool, interesting history, lore, race mechanics, as playing a drow. But then also, they make such fucking good bad guys. They're just bad. I want to just, read this one spit from Mordenkainen and Stone of Foes. Just to get across, drow in general. From the time of old to understand, drow are taught that they are superior to all other creatures, for they remain steadfast in their devotion to Lolth despite the hardships of their existence. Any creature that isn't a drow is useful only as a sacrifice to Lolth, as a slave, or as fodder for the giant spiders that the drow train to patrol their cities and tunnels. How can you not just be yeah, these guys are going to be super interesting bad guys? Easy bad guys to make your players hate them.
The problem I have with the using drow as the main villain of a thing is it's kind of a similar issue to using orcs or goblins or stuff. It's yeah, they're described as pretty morally despicable, but then there is still that room to be yeah, but they are a sentient people, and we are sort of just kicking their doors in and burning their houses down and destroying their way of life. Are we the good guys here? Well,
it's fine because drow did the same thing. They do tons of surface raids.
That doesn't necessarily make it okay.
That's fine. They're not real. They're not. That's the other big thing. They're not real. They're imaginary figments of our imagination, written on papers.
Putting it into the context of if you think about it in real life and being oh well, those people over there did bad things to us, so now we're just gonna burn their entire continent to the ground. That's not necessarily a better option or a good response.
Yeah. No, it's not. My players, they held a grudge specifically because it was these guys like not even like, and yeah, I think one of my players specifically held a grudge against every drow because of it. But it was like, they touched our stuff, they fucked with our stuff, so now I'm gonna fuck with everything they own. And it's like, all right, it's like, all right, hold on.
The problem, like, yeah, they're the baddies for sure.
The problem is that like a drow are particularly like their society is described as quite advanced and like complicated, and they have, you know, they're as advanced, if not more, than like, you know, standard modern society, right? And it becomes kind of weird. Like, I don't know. It's just there's some, you know, if you start thinking about the moral implications, you start being like, ooh, this is a deep rabbit hole.
But also imagine like if this super advanced, both magically, physically, like technology wise, occult wise, drow are very, very advanced. However, what if all those advancements were for this evil, you know, deed?
Yeah, it's the Nazi argument. I get it. It's, you know, it's that whole vibe. It just, I don't know. And so it's why I don't want them to be a primary villain, because I feel like
I mean, they're
so
cool.
complicated.
Well, that's the thing. And now, like, I know Wizards, they're trying to change some of it and like add, they're like, not all drow, which is fine. Like that, yes, because and one of the other things I'm going to mention is one of my other big inspirations was but just by happenstance, I found someone, they made graphic novels of the first few Dritz books, Dritz to Earth. And so I bought them and I read them, and those books are a huge inspiration for drow and drow culture. And yes, Dritz is like the example, but not all drow want to fucking, like, you know, kill and sacrifice the Lolth and be evil and all that stuff. No. And which is why it makes Dritz so special, and it makes other drow who want to leave Lolth's influence even more important. Like, there's a whole god now. A lot of people want to, because there are other gods of drow culture. One of them in particular, Illustrine. She has huge influence on trying to break away from Lolth, trying to be good, and actually like have drow societies on the surface, and to help help them separate from like Lolth's influence and being evil.
Yeah, I think the crux of the thing, right, is to not paint them as like black and white villains, but to show that like they come from a incredibly corrupt society that brainwashes their children to be evil.
Well,
who therefore brainwash their children to be evil. Like, as long as you treat them, you show that drow who are born outside of that civilization, or outside of the city, really, right? Because like, presumably there are drow who are born in the Underdark who are not raised in Menzoberranzan or like the Lolth affiliated cities, who are just like normal people. Well,
that's the thing. There are some in Menzoberranzan who are like that, and they don't want anything to do with Lolth, but they live in this society and have to work to break away. I think otherwise they will get fucking murdered.
The way to go about, if I were to make them like the main focus villain kind of thing, I think the important thing about the way to go about it would be not that the drow are the villain, but like a specific faction or tribe or whatever, clan. I guess they do clans. A specific house, whatever. I would make it a specific house is the primary villain, and not that all drow are the primary villain, because that's where it starts to get ugly, right?
Exactly. Again, and that's actually what I ended up doing, which I'll get into, but because it was a specific house fucking with the players the entire time.
Yeah,
but my players at first just generalized, be like, it must be all drow. And then when they got into the city and realized, oh no, it's just one specific house. All right, let's fuck up everything of that house in particular.
It's the thing where, again, not to beat the dead horse, but the Nazis were bad. That doesn't mean all of the German people were also bad, right? That's part of the gotta get the nuance in there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
For a better word there.
Yeah, and like and I'll mention in a little bit too, but like when I actually get into it, like they had a contact from the Underdark who was another drow. Who was a drow like information broker, and his whole thing was like I'm just trying to save up so I can get the fuck out of here and never come back. He's like, unfortunately, he's like, the surface world's not too particularly happy with, my folk. But also, it sucks down here, so I'd rather just deal with being persecuted on the surface world than living under this nonsense.
Yeah.
So if the players could like help, maybe throw some chaos in Webtropolis, Menzo Brands, and then more power to them.
Yeah,
People also have a habit of like dehumanizing the drow a lot and making them sort of weird, like pseudo demons or something like that, which is very much not what they are.
No, as much as they play into demon culture and like
they aren't like
all that stuff.
Yeah, they aren't like they aren't like literal beings of evil. Well, Lolth is.
No, they're not alien minds. They're not like
like Lolth is a demon. So
yes, Lolth is.
There is something to say.
She's
about
a
that.
god and a demon. It's crazy.
So is
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, well, Tiamat is
technically a devil,
a god, and a fiend. Yeah. Fucking Grazit is a devil and a demon at the same time.
Yeah. Well, he was a devil that became a demon.
He is also a fuckboy.
Oh,
yeah. Well, so I don't know. This might not be the episode to talk about this, but I think I don't necessarily think that you always need nuance in stories when you're coming up with a bad guy. I think there just needs to be a very set and clear understanding that there needs to be a set and clear understanding that, like, although the bad, like, if you want orcs to be bad guys, right? Let them be bad guys. That's fine. You want all orcs to be like weird creations of like an evil deity, and they're like not. They're like they're the orcs from Tolkien, right? Where they're like corrupted evil elves that like were they took the corpses of elves and corrupted them. That's fine. You just you have to understand at the table you have to talk about like this is not setting a standard towards any one people. This is not discriminatory, derogatory towards one people or any anachronistic people in the real world. This is just the thing that I am doing in this thing. Like there has to be understanding at the table, and that's pretty much the only thing that matters. Anyone else's opinions about the matter is fucking irrelevant because they're not at the table and they don't understand what's going on at the table. So fuck them. But yeah.
Well, it doesn't even necessarily have to be not whether it's like anachronistic to an actual people in real life or not. I don't even think it's not even so much about that, but it's just like a kind of thing where you even like in a weird way, I think you should even treat the fake fantasy people with a certain respect just because it's a good like mentality about like it's a good way to think about it. You know what I mean? So even disregarding whether it relates back to real life or not, you should still sort of like I feel like you should pretend like it does, and that's why I think if you're gonna do drow, you should have some like a little bit of nuance to it because they're such a nuanced like peoples, and also they're just a really big part of D&D and like history wise too.
They are. I struggle with the if you want to do this, you need to do like I that's a weird absolute statement, and I don't.
Or remember the villain episode? Like the first one me and Isaiah did, like, and then the one after with you and was Sam in that one too, or no?
I don't remember. I think it was just the three of us.
But like, yeah, so like it is more. It seems like more people, and like with us, it is more fun to run just the the Jack Horner, the stereotypical bad villain, and literally in what's the Lost Minds of Phandelver, the main bad guy is just a drow mage dude who just wanted the mines for himself. And that's it. He is a mustache twirling villain. That is it. That's the simplest thing.
This is totally not relevant, but I just want to mention literally everyone on the planet says Lost Minds of Phandelver, but there's no S. And I think that's really funny.
Oh, well, I've
it's
seen
Lost
a lot
Mine
of
Phandelver.
Oh, yeah.
It's one mine.
I'll do you one better. I've seen people type Lost Minds, like MINDS of Phandelver, and that one, I like wriggle in pain whenever I read it.
That's
like, you're just going to a psychiatric ward. That's Phandelver.
Yeah, that one's way off.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, it's very funny. It's like when people say for all, what is it?
For all intensive purposes.
Yeah, exactly. For all intensive purposes, it's like
intense and purposes.
It's not it, bud.
Yeah.
It ain't it.
No. Absolutely not.
And yeah, I guess just to get a little quick recap of just the group. My party at the moment just hit level 15. We still got the Warlock Fighter combo, the Hexblade. We have the Shadow Monk Rogue combo. We have Krug, who's just the fucking Totem Barbarian. After this, the last events of what happened, our players were able to switch out the Warforged Sorcerer for the Paladin who got yeeted in the Astral Sea to another dimension. They were like, we're high enough level now, we can get him back. So he switched. We have a Gunsmith Fighter Elf guy, and also now the Lizard Folk Fighter Spore Druid.
Spore Druid.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It's a weird combo.
It was melee, because Spore Druid could be a really cool melee druid. So that's what he was, he just wanted to hit shit with like mushroom hammers and stuff.
Mushroom hammers?
Yeah.
Did he make a mushroom hammer?
Yes.
And so the question is, therefore, it is a mushroom that is a hammer, or it is a hammer in the shape of a mushroom?
Yes.
Damn it. Hate everything. I wanna go home.
Yes to which one, Matt?
Yes.
Did you not establish which one?
No, I don't fucking remember.
I hate that you didn't ask. That would have been my first question.
Yep.
Why?
That's important.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so specifically too, I'll mention, because like I said, also, I did pick a specific drow house, mostly in Webtropolis, Menzo Branson, whatever. I'll just keep calling what I called in our homebrew game. Drow society is broken up into different houses. Each house is specialized in a specific thing, like mining, negotiations, magic, whatever. The house that I ended up picking, Faye Branchy, their main thing was skilled at forging like alliances, and this is actual like D&D lore
nerd
stuff. Yeah, I picked them specifically because in the background, and what the players end up finding out later, is that the invincible overlord, he's been getting a readily supply of adamantine or adamantine. How do you pronounce it?
Who the fuck cares?
But he's been getting a readily supply, and the players haven't been able to figure out like why the fuck, where's this guy getting it? This drow house has been they ended up taking over a mine in the Underdark and have been supplying it with him. The invincible overlord is working with the dragon cult, so they're helping, and so then you have this trifecta of like, okay, the dragon cult is helping secure these mines. The adamantine from the mines are going to the overlord. The overlord is helping the drow house with supplies and gold, and basically helping them rise to power in drow society. Which my players at the end were like, this is fucking like everyone's plotting against us. I hate this. It was just like cool, like little background stuff that was like happening, and then they find out, eventually.
Did your players, or wait a minute, what? Invincible Overlord man is trying to get the drow on his team, right?
Yeah.
Did he not consider the fact they can't go, above ground?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. There's a contingency. It's fine.
Is he gonna blot out the sun?
He didn't care that he was helping them like with gold, soldiers, supplies, basically making it that they can rise to greater ranks in the drow society, take out their enemies. He would help sending like wizards every once in a while to like take out other like members of other houses and stuff, because a lot of drow they love sending assassins at each other's houses and killing people.
I get all that, but how are the drow gonna help the invincible overlord if they can't get out of the ground?
Oh, because they were teleporting adamantine to him.
All right, I guess.
Yeah, you don't need magic, Josh.
Sounds
it's
like
fine.
I hate it when you can look at someone and go, magic.
It's so simple. I don't understand why you guys get confused by this.
It's not a confusion. That doesn't mean I don't have to not hate it.
It's not a confusion. It's a dislike. But also, I feel like that's a real uneven relationship there. He's getting some nice shiny rocks, and they're getting unlimited power. But all right, sure.
Well, not unlimited power. Like they're right. Basically, Basically the other deal, the deal was like he's gonna help them rise up so they become the most powerful house in the Underdark, and then basically he's busy ruling the surface, so he's like, technically in his mind, it's like, well, I'm technically ruling both because I helped put these guys to the top. So he's like, I technically rule both the surface world and the Underdark. And then the Drow would probably try eventually betray him, but
so it's more about him making his pee-pee bigger.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Should have started with that.
Yeah, that's why I made this bad guy. That was like his main
His shtick was having big pee-pee.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then the third player in this was the Drow, the dragon cult that now are like a predominant figure going against the players. And I actually, because I read this in the Menzo Baranzan book and a couple other edition book, there's a faction. Oh, I'm gonna butcher the name. They're called Jerez Chaltson.
You want to give me that in text format?
Yeah.
Jerez Chaltson.
Jerez Chaltson. Yeah, they are a group of Drow and Shatter Kai that work together, and they basically want to free the Drow people of Lawless influence. However, these are the group of, and I mentioned this in a previous episode, they are a group of dragon-blooded sorcerer assassins. But not just any kind of dragon blood. These guys are shadow dragon-blooded sorcerer assassin Drow.
Uh-huh.
Shadow,
it is fucking some sort of crazy nonsense.
Is my original OC did not steal.
Super much, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
And so when I saw these guys, I'm like, genius. I could just use these guys as the Drow Dragon Cult faction in the Underdark. Pat self on back.
Yeah.
So, all this getting into when the Drow originally attacked the surface world, the Drow Shadowblade, the Shredder-looking dude.
Uh-huh.
Because he was working with this Drow house, which I'm going to just say right now, the house I ended up choosing, they're called House Fae Branchy. I'm going to post that so you guys can read that as well.
I love Drow language.
Yeah, I know, right?
Fae Branchy.
Yeah.
That's spelled exactly how it sounds.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know if I'm happy or really mad about that.
So in normal D&D lore, they're only like the 8th most powerful house out of the 10 houses. I decided, because I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna homebrew this shit. Because of the influence of the Overlord, because of the help of the Dragon Call, because of all this adamantine mine, they're right now rising up to about the 2nd or 3rd level. And so they're starting to become a really big threat. These dragon cultists, these shadow-blooded dragon sorcerer assassins, this whole underground
Every time
cult of
you
it,
say it, I have to think about it.
Yeah,
it's a lot. So the dragon cult, because it turns out that, and I was like, this would be cool if the Drow Shadowblade was a member. That's how he was getting his shadow powers. And now I'm like, now I can actually like homebrew and buff the shit out of him to being like a big bad boss or something later on that my player's going to fight. Also, he has one of the MacGuffin Teeth of the Dragon items that my players desperately need. Save the world. So they're like, fuck. All right, cool. So now I got that nonsense out of the way.
Now that the preamble is over.
Yeah. So, last time, Dragon Ball Z players were in the swamp. They got the one black-toothed dragon. Now they have 3 out of 5. They got the white one at the beginning of the campaign. They got the black one this session. Oh no, they got the green one from the Thieves Guild. And now they have the black one from the Swampland. Now they're like, okay, Matt, it's been a year. Time to go to the Underdark finally.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep bringing up the dragon teeth. I gotta ask the question.
Yeah.
Least favorite dragon of the chromatics?
Of the chromatics?
Based on what metric?
The elements, their design. Do you like them or not? Whatever metric you want, really.
I think maybe I think maybe the white dragon, just because they're just more animalistic than dragon, and so I'm kind of like, I like because like each of the chromatic dragons has a specific thing. White dragons they are the most animalistic. They're more like hunters, whereas the other dragons are just they're more cool. They're cooler. I don't know in my book compared to the black dragons are like really evil and they like to delve into dark magic and their face is a skull. Like the acid melted their face. They're fucking metal as shit.
I have a much easier time picking a favorite than a least favorite.
Right?
For me, it's definitely green dragons.
Oh, really?
I just they're so for me.
Is it just because like their whole thing is lying and deceiving and infiltrating?
No, it's because their thing is poison, and I'm like, oh, you're such a
poison,
loser.
yeah.
Look at you, fucking loser. The one condition and damage type that everything's immune to, you little loser. That's what you are. You're a loser green dragon. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
but I like the idea of the nature dragon. Like the tree focus, like the druid dragon. Because that's their vibe.
I know it is.
That's what their lairs and shit are.
Yeah, but like, they're also green. I'm like,
What does that have to do with it?
Damn.
What does the being green have to do with anything?
So to quote, if the Emperor had a TTS device, when the head custodian is like, "No, I can't prove this. Maybe it's the blue the blue space marines are better than the salamanders because usually blue is just a better color than green."
Well,
That's kind of how I feel. And then the Emperor goes, "That's stupid. The fact that gold exists means every other color is equally inferior."
I mean, I would probably say blue is my least favorite.
What?
I don't know. They're just nerds.
Is it the big ears?
No, but that's a fair.
But they're the paladin dragons.
Yeah, they also have unicorn horn.
In what way are the paladin dragons?
They're the most honorable, and they don't lie or deceive. They're like super.
But they're supposed to be evil.
Yeah, but you can have an evil paladin.
Wait, I don't think that.
Look at Daddy Manganello.
I'm not so sure that's even the case. I don't know that
his
much.
Is red?
What? Archon's red.
Yeah.
Red dragon is the coolest dragon. That's all that matters.
See, for me, it's actually the blue dragon.
I like the black dragon.
I like white dragon because I like the idea of just big, angry, stupid bear in dragon form.
I do like the dragon equivalent of Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah.
Because they are the smallest of any of the chromatics.
Yeah.
But they're the most ferocious. So I just like the idea of the dragon equivalent of a fucking chihuahua.
Yeah.
You know who the real nerds are, though? Copper.
Damn, that's rude.
Well,
Aren't they the fucking like the stand-up comedy dragons?
No, I think that's the bronze.
The bronze. I know that there's one that will like hold you hostage and tell you jokes for the rest of your natural
Pretty sure
life.
that's the bronze dragons.
Very funny.
I'll give you green is probably my least favorite based on the art, though. I'll give you that one. No, actually, white is my least favorite based on the art.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Also, the white
I'm looking
one,
at my Tiamat Funko Pop right now.
the white one, the white dragon kind of looks like he's trotting in his art, like he doing a little trot. I'm trotting. Like a little horse.
Trot in place. He's fucking donkey.
Yeah. But also, all the gem dragon boards have the coolest art now. So, like,
Yeah, that's fair.
except for Crystal. Crystal's a weird one.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of like the gem dragon art. It looks too messy to me.
How
What about the
dare you,
amethyst
sir.
dragon looks sick.
No, so they look sick, but like compared to like the monster manual art, they just seem so fucking messy. Like it's like I like some messy art, or like the scratchy line for like the DBZ movie and stuff, but that's just like too messy for me.
I'm
I
looking
don't
at
know.
them right now. They don't look messy at all. What are you talking about?
Well, so they do look I see what he's saying. They look like they were drawn in a sketchbook.
No, they
Like
don't.
to me, I don't know. To me, it looks like something that Volo would draw in his journal when he saw one of the dragons.
You're
You know
gonna
what I
tell
mean?
me that looks like a sketchbook drawing?
Okay, not that.
Not that one, no.
That's,
I'm thinking
that's
of-
a sapphire or an emerald dragon.
Well,
Emerald.
so
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
thinking
talking
of
about the
this
other
one in
ones.
particular. Like this one looks like it was drawn in a sketchbook.
That's
Yeah,
not
the
their.
topaz.
That's not their. That's not their
That's
key
not,
art.
watch it. No. I mean, look at the amethyst
is it
dragon
not?
art.
No.
No, that's not. That's like the what do you call it? The concept art.
Yeah, that's not the key art.
My bad. My bad.
No, you're good. I
This
mean,
is-
but that's what I'm saying. The key art looks messy. Like
This is
Oh,
this is the
so
amethyst dragon key art right here.
Josh, you're gonna hate me.
Why?
I have to say that I dislike the amethyst dragon because it looks like Yveltal, and I hate Yveltal.
I actually like it. I kind of like him. He's got the Godzilla with wings vibe, and I love his little claw, like the giant claw tail. But I still am not a fan of like the messy art. I don't know.
It's not messy. What? I don't. That is not messy art. I don't know what you're talking about.
It looks unfinished.
No, it doesn't.
I wouldn't say it looks unfinished.
Not
I
at
would say
all.
it looks really loose and like.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, it looks.
It
it's too
doesn't
loose
even.
for
I
me.
wouldn't even really say it's that loose. That's a pretty rendered drawing. I don't know, Matt. I think your eyeballs aren't working right. Also, I don't know how you could say anything about the gem dragonborns when this bad boy exists. Come on.
You do be looking
Yeah, the
pretty
line
sexy,
came out
though.
way before the book, before it came out.
So I had a thought about Sapphire. So like if you look at the model, right, their wings are like see-through. Does that mean that they are literally made of like they don't have like gemstone scales? They are transparent. They're made of rock, right?
I guess.
What happens if they get itchy? Can they get itchy? How do you scratch yourself? Because your claws would be as hard as your skin, so you couldn't actually scratch anything. You would just fucking rub against it weirdly, like scratching a record. This is the things I think about. How do you scratch your ass as a sapphire dragon? Wizards, tell me, please. I need to know.
You polymorph into a
I don't.
creature.
If you're made of rock, I don't think you would get itchy.
Maybe because they have to eat, right? They go through metabolic process, so I assume that they have to shed their scales or whatever the fuck at some point. So they probably have to get itchy on some level.
at some level.
I'm not so sure about that, but okay.
Anywho. Yeah, it's
Look,
a
let me be neurotic, okay? Let me be a neurotic weirdo. Also, I'm just gonna put this out there. As much as I love the Sapphire Dragon from 5e, the Matt Colville Sapphire Dragon fucking blows it out of the water.
alien
I
gem
love that
dragons?
thing.
Yeah, they look
yeah,
fucking
that thing
awesome.
is so fucking
My problem
cool.
is they don't look like dragons. The MCD.
They look like
ones.
aliens, yeah.
Yeah, they look
I'm
like weird
kind of
alien
okay with
monsters.
that.
But they're dragons. I want Durgan.
Well, I like the. I'm sort of taking the How to Train Your Dragon approach to the dragon, where it's like they don't all look like that. One looks like the Red Death from How to Train Your Dragon, and I fucking love that thing. Those movies are god tier.
They're
Anyone
cool.
Disagrees?
I
but
still
I'm
haven't
wrong.
seen the third one.
They're
online.
cool, but I don't like that they don't look like dragons. I want dragons.
I mean, some of them.
I want my
some of them
dragons to
do.
look like
Fair enough.
dragons.
I want to see this thing take on the Tarrasque. I want like an animation of it. That'd be so fucking cool.
I love
You
the
just like it because it
amethyst.
looks like a kaiju.
It does look like. That's why the blue dragon's my favorite, because it has a Godzilla beam.
What a surprise!
I can fucking, if I run it for my party, I can have the soundboard sound effect of legendary Godzilla's like, and just fucking delete a player.
What a surprise! Isaiah liked it because Godzilla.
Look, is that not why we all like big lizards? Because on some level, we really are all just kaiju fans.
No, I don't know where I got into dragons, but it was not because of Godzilla.
No. But what I'm saying is that if you like dragons, you have to be a kaiju fan on some level.
I think as a kid, I remember being like, Kaiba's cool, and then Kaiba, blue dragons are cool. And it's like, yeah, Kaiba, blue dragons are cool. And then they just developed into dragons are cool.
I don't know if Isaiah, I think you're just trying to find a way to make everyone a kaiju fan against their will.
Look, this is the everyone's a little gay thing. Just let it happen. It's okay. Don't fight.
Matt, go back to talking about the weird dark elves.
Yeah, so Drow. So one other thing, because it was a web comic that someone made, or someone made a joke on like the D&D subreddit that all Drow have Australian accents because they come from a land down
From
under.
the down under.
Yep. So yeah, every Drow I had a terrible Australian accent.
He's told
And
us
it was-
that before, Isaiah.
I know. I forgot.
It was like, oh, good day, governor. Oh, yeah, Lolf's great. Love it. Love spiders.
I don't
Love
know.
these spiders here.
Spoilers.
I completely forgot.
Raise love to a sacrifice.
I want you to
And
know
dingo and my
that
baby.
it's
like
probably
really bad.
It's
Terrible.
it's probably
Every
not going
single
to
one.
happen. But if I ever make a Drow PC as a player, they will be Australian. Don't you worry, bud.
Yeah.
I think we all will now. If that's the one thing that this podcast does in totality, it's for everyone to realize the Drow should be
Drows are
Australian.
Australian.
Yep. If we can accomplish that one goal,
Now I'm just
we've done
imagining
enough.
a game where everyone plays Drow and we're all doing it.
Yeah. We're in the Menzo Barans and City of
Or-
Intrigue. But
Or
I
don't
will say
put the
that fourth
spiders
edition
on the
book,
bottom, mate.
dude, that book, it's specifically like that book is made for you to run a Drow only evil campaign.
Oh Jesus!
That's what it
That
was
does sound
originally
very
intended
fun.
to be.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You ever thought about why they called the Outback the Outback?
Yeah, there's no answer. It's just because it's Outback.
It's Outback. Yeah, that's it.
That's the only. That's the answer. Because it's Outback.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, what's out there? Oh, nothing much. Just out there back.
It's just
Outback.
Outback.
Yeah. Wait, what's the
Outback,
desert?
bud.
No, just Outback.
It's Outback
God,
behind
it's a
the.
droid.
It's behind my house. It's Outback. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the party, yeah, they meet their Drow informant guy, brings them down into the city, and thank God at 5e Out of the Abyss adventure actually had a usable, workable map of Menzo Berenzin I can use. And like blocked off the districts and shit and had some encounters because I used that a lot as well. Had a lot of good info.
See.
But as soon as my players got into the city, like I showed them the map, I showed them where they were. Each section of the city is divided into different areas, and my players were like, "All right, so now that we're here, we're gonna go on a reconnaissance mission." Which the Drow NPC was like, "No, don't, no,
Do
no,
not
don't do
this.
that." No,
They
this-
went, no.
yeah, literally, and then they like half the party just fucking disappeared, flew off or walked off, and he's like, "Oh no, yeah, fucking dead."
Oh, God.
Fucking dead. Fucking dead, mate.
And please, how long did you do this Menzo Berenzin thing?
So originally, this was only supposed to be for like maybe like 2 months or like a month. I originally thought of it, and then I was like, I could branch it off to 2 months. This took 6 actual months in human time.
And your Australian accent didn't get any better?
No, it did not get any better whatsoever.
What do you
In
think
fact,
Matt
I
was
think it got
doing
worse.
research or something on how to do an Australian accent?
Yeah,
No.
I was watching a lot of Steve Irwin and
God damn it. Look,
Watching Steve
Cracky, look at the
ones.
size of that drow.
Look at that
Look.
slider, mate.
I might be an animal. I watched
drag
pretty much
off.
nothing but Irish media for like 3 months when I had a character who had an Irish accent. And I just, yeah. And look, my Irish accent isn't great, but like,
no,
at
that
least
is-
I was like, I need to know.
That is
yeah.
absolutely unhinged behavior.
But yeah, they wanted to explore the city a bit and they wanted to like peek around. So, you know, half the party went off, were spying. The gunsmith, because we ended up homebrewing. He's like, he wanted to build a silencer for his gun. I'm like, all right, how the fuck is a
What the
silencer gonna work in 5e? And so he just randomly was like, all right, man, I just want to snipe some drow from this house that we're fucking around with. So he went to he eventually found their mansion like compound, and we're just picking off random like people because like the drow like I don't remember if it was from, I think it was the City of Intrigue. You can roll to see like what kind of like bodyguards and slaves and fucking shit they have. So these guys, because they were getting more in power, they had a lot more security, which were like a bunch of different like ogres and other drow and shit. And so he was just sitting like on a building across like the other side, like think of it like fucking like New York City. He was on the opposite side of the building
being a
watching a
terrorist.
skyscraper. Oh yeah, 100% just being a terrorist, just sniping them.
Okay.
And the drow, after like 5 minutes, realized, hey, someone's picking us off over there. And so he's like, all right, Matt, I'm out of here. Zoom, just fucking stealth.
When I said you don't need to have complicated villains and you can just kill drow sometimes, This is not what I meant.
yeah.
This is categorically not what I meant. If you do this, you're a crazy person.
I think he just wanted to try out his silencer. To be honest.
Yeah, that's what you call being evil.
Yes, no, yes. Also, I would like to point out that I feel like this is a point where you hit your player with the actually silencers don't make it silent, so they're coming for you.
Yeah. Well, actually,
I don't remember.
It's called suppressor because it doesn't actually silence the bullet. It just lowers it to a subsonic rate.
Yeah, I should have found the notes for the silencer because I forgot what we homebrewed it doing, like adding stealth to him or something. Like, it's been so long. And
In actuality, it would do very little.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest way to do it mechanically is just to say that you don't lose cover. Or you don't lose the hidden tag when you fire. Like, if you miss, right? Because obviously, if you hit somebody from behind, they're like, wait, they were behind me. But if you don't lose the fact that you're hidden if you miss. That'd be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, another player went into this drow, like, kind of bizarre area and was trying to just find information, buy out a bunch of different other information brokers as well, trying to be like, listen, if you hear anything, hit me up. Here, if you hear anything, hit me up. Joe ran to a beholder who was just walking down the street.
No, just right down the road.
Yeah, that's the other thing in Menza Branson, like actual like 5e stuff. There are a fuck ton of other horrifying creatures living in the city, like beholders and mind flayers.
How do they live there and not kill everything?
Because factions. Because if they cross a line, then other factions will get involved and try and wipe them out.
Look, okay, so I understand.
Yeah,
beholders don't like themselves.
No,
true.
So I can't imagine a beholder.
They are tolerated
not
to a high degree.
Like, and you can't even make the they're like a sentient, like they're like from the outer planes. Like they do not count in terms of like being a diverse race of species of people. They're literally like fifth dimensional aliens who dream up reality.
They are literally aliens, yes.
Yeah. So I like beholders don't trust themselves to dream, because if they dream up another beholder, they'll literally look in a mirror and go, "You betrayed me." And it's like, I'm you dipshit, and they're still having the conversation with themselves, right? Like, so the fact I can't imagine a beholder going down the street being like, "Hey Bob, oh hey Joe, how's it going?"
Hey Bob, how you doing? How's things?
But eventually, the party, as they're exploring the city, the NPC managed to wrangle them up and be like, "All right, you gotta stop this nonsense." And basically, one of the things I was trying to do was, because showing off in one of the, again, this is other things, a lot of shit I learned from the Drow book. When Drow get to a higher status, they like to throw what is called a Drow house party, which giant mansion party, raves, drugs, debauchery, all wild nonsense happens. And it's to show status. It's like the highest degree that Drow can show status, and that they are superior to the other factions and houses of the city. So the group, the players, through the NPC, found out that the House Fae Banshee, the one that they're after, the one that they want to go after, is about to host a Drow house party. And that the only way to get
into the party... Is it really just called a house party?
Yeah, it's literally a Drow house party because of the houses, the factions.
I get it. I hate that it's just called a house party. Like, that just sounds goofy. Like, hey guys, we're having a house party. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you evil? Yeah.
And half the party wanted to just be like, "Oh, well, we could just all try and sneak in." To which the NPC was like, no, it'll be a lot easier if we get at least some of you guys who can't stealth in with an invitation. And so the player's like, fetch quest, goddamn you. And this is when I was like, all right, I'm going to make two, like, kind of like Descent to Avernus. I made two different paths, two different adventures that they can go on, and depending like which one they want to do, that will lead them into getting an invitation and then getting to the Drow house party. And so the players met with one of the quest givers, who was a Drow Inquisitor of a completely different house. Mm-hmm. And the Inquisitors, their whole thing is they are the Drow who basically are the ones that keep kind of law and order within the city of people that try and backstab each other for power constantly. They're the ones who can suss out liars. they're the ones who shut down other more chaotic drow. And because my players either rolled, I don't remember if they rolled really bad during the meeting, but she was able to suss out that they also surface dwellers are not normally welcomed in the Underdark. So all my players were like disguised and trying to hide themselves as other drow or other, creatures.
You're
living
telling
in
me the edgy dark elves who praise a dark spider god don't like foreigners?
No, they really
That's
don't like
ridiculous.
foreigners.
Also, I've thought about this. This again. This is Isaiah's neurotic thoughts while you tell this story.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of Menzo Brandon having a permanent zone of truth put on it at all times, just so there's no lying. But obviously, like the damage that does is like, honey, does this dress make my ass look fat? Yes. Shit. Do you still love me? No. God damn it.
But yeah, the Inquisitor was able to basically suss out very easily that you're not from here, are you? You guys are surface dwellers. All right. So yeah, you're gonna do my job. Otherwise, I'll have you all killed. Sick. See you later. And she left. And my players are like, well, I guess we're doing this mission. And then the players basically were arguing, trying to decide, like, well, we don't have to do the mission. What's the worst that can happen? And
What's
then
the
arguing.
worst that could happen?
They're like, wait, well, like, we are in the city. She seemed not threatened of us. And we're level 15, guys. We're pretty powerful.
Oh, no.
And she thought we were weak.
Oh, that has the same energy as we'll be fine, guys. And then I died to a house.
Yep.
It's fine, guys. We're gods. Why would you even tempt that shit?
Why would you say that?
I am a golden god.
Oh. And so the NPC contact who was with them was like, all right, well, let's at least go talk to the other quest giver who happened to be in this giant drow bazaar that I wanted to show off and like have the players like, ooh, search around. They can, buy cool magic items and shit that they normally can't get access to, meet cool NPCs. One of the things that they ended up buying, which I found actually, this is from Eberron, it's a magic, it's a drug, it's eye drops that when you put them in your eyes, you basically get like kaleidoscope vision, but you have wild magic for the next hour. And basically every 10 minutes you have to roll on the wild magic table.
Oh,
so
just no matter what, you just have to roll on it?
Yeah, you just have to roll on it. Yeah.
Oh, fucking Lamau. I love that.
Yeah, every
That's
10
awesome.
minutes. So after my players heard this, only one of them was like, fuck yeah, bro, let's try it. It was fucking dumping half the fucking bottles into their eyes. They bought some spell gems, some other kind of like rare magic items. And then the other thing they wanted to do is they saw, because again, Drow, Undercity, lots of slave trading. They saw these two slaves and they're like, all right, let's see if maybe we can try and be good guys and try and free them. During this, the eye drop drug, because one of the things on the wild magic table is you just summon a unicorn. So while in negotiate, like a bit before they started talking to the slave lord, like they just had this unicorn following around for a few minutes. And so one of the players was like, yo, do you care if I just sell this unicorn to free these two slaves? And the drugged out player was like, no, man, go for it. I'll just make another one probably in a couple minutes. I still got half this bottle of this eye drop shit.
I'll just make another one.
So they traded the unicorn, they freed the two slaves, and around like literally as they basically the exchange was done, they turn around to leave. The player's like, oh wait, Matt, I think the drug's gonna wear off now. What the unicorn disappears, doesn't it? I'm like, well, now that you say it. So this drow slave lord is just like fucking, doing the Mr. Burns like finger tap, like excellent. Yes, I'm going to make such powerful magic items out of this unicorn horn, and they're just explode in the dust. Turns around, looks at players. Players are like, oh shit. And right before the police, the drow police showed up, Paladin, because he's a paladin, he's like, oh, wait, Matt, you know what I'll do as a big distraction? I'm going to cast Daylight.
Oh my god.
The thing drow really fucking hate.
You got a flashback. I'm just going to commit another act of terrorism.
I'm going to flashbang
that's
these
basically
people
all they
whose
did.
eyeballs don't, can't handle it. It's fine.
And then basically throughout the rest of the time they were in the Underdark, they were being searched for as someone summoned the sun in the Underdark. How could they do such blasphemy?
Yeah. Mhm.
In all the newspapers and shit. And so our players were like, God damn it, Paladin. And
Yeah. Yeah, as they probably should.
Yep. And so after a bit of chasing, fighting some shadow assassins, which I accidentally almost killed the player with.
Nice.
This is when I was like, it's a medium encounter. It's fine. The shadow assassins, they're the ones that like suck your, like normal shadows. They suck your strength score, and if your strength hits 0, you die. So imagine a higher CR level of those guys.
Nice.
With an entire party except for 2 people that dumped strength. Yes, I know.
Sounds like a them problem, to be honest.
Yeah. But afterwards, they finally get to the second quest giver's place, which was this rinky-dink magic shop all the way in the dark side of the bazaar. My players are like, all right, good vibes so far. This is going to be great. Immediately as they enter, entire magic shop run by zombies. And they're like, okay, great start. Again, all right. Let's see where this plays out.
Zombies understand economy?
Mm-hmm.
And business?
Yes.
Ow.
And then walking down a nearby staircase, like basically right in front of the players, was an Illithid Lich, which is basically a Mind Flayer Lich.
Oh.
Now, what was supposed to happen, as this happens many a times, was it was supposed to be just gonna scare the players because it's, oh shit, it's a Mind Flayer and a Lich. But he was gonna talk to them, offer them a really good job, maybe get not only invitations to this house party, but also maybe get some sweet magic item from this fucking magic item shop that he's running. Like many things that I planned, that is not what happened.
They tried to kill him?
No, they did. Paladin, seeing this undead Mind Flayer Lich, without even regarding any of the other players, immediately attacked it.
Of course he did.
Right.
Yep.
This is the player that got kicked out eventually, right?
Yes, and this was the thing that got him kicked out.
I see.
Now over the last month or so, Paladin was causing a lot of problems out of game for a couple of players, both economically and
Economically?
yeah, like they ended up getting kicked out of their apartment because of him. He was doing some drugs. He was in and out of sessions a lot. Really also bad mouthing the players in my friend group. And eventually doing a lot of these moments of like, I'm just going to do a thing regardless of what the party wants. Like taking a lot of agency out of the players and making decisions for the group without consulting the whole group.
Okay.
And so eventually the players, it caused a lot of infighting with him. Like he would just start at like verbally attacking people in the middle of the game, and we'd have to shut it down, being like, bro, what are you talking about? Stop. And so after the Illithid Lich, and then him arguing and being like, it was best, he's an Illithid Lich, we shouldn't have to fucking deal with him. You guys are just being dumbasses. What are you talking about? Arguing with the party on top of all the outside stuff happening. All my players and basically we had a meeting, and eventually we had to kick him out because he was causing way too many issues.
Yeah.
Like the party had enough of him. I had enough of him. Like he was literally like hurting my friends. Like it's originally, he was a cool guy, fun dude.
How did he
but then
go downhill
somewhere down
so
the line,
fast?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
I know this is like, go on.
I was just gonna say, what occurred that it turned so quickly?
I'm assuming the drugs for starters.
Good old guys.
Yeah.
So this might be wildly inappropriate. How did they get someone evicted?
He wasn't, because he was spending money on drugs. He wasn't paying the rent, and then eventually just left without saying anything. And so when my friends were like, hey man, you haven't been here in like a month and you owe us rent the last like 2 months, where are you? And then him basically not responding, only showing up for Thursday every other 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a big fucking mess.
Gotcha. Goddamn.
So after he got kicked out, then the players had to deal with the Mind Flayer Lich.
Yeah.
And so they fought him in his magic shop with all of his zombies. It was actually a pretty good fight because the fucking guy was able to, again, all my players dumped intelligence. Mind Flayer big brain attack stunned half of the players. Unfortunately, I also ended up stunning a fuck ton of his zombie minions. So it was basically just the Lich fighting the players 1v4.
Honestly, I would have, because they're zombies, right? I would have just ruled it. Yeah. They're not affected. They don't really like. Although I guess you said they were more sentient than normal, so fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could have, but also I was like, they're in the blast zone. It's fine, whatever. Fucking. But eventually they ended up killing him, destroying him, and then they looted the shit out of his magic shop. They ended up.
Said as you do.
Yep. They got a dwarven thrower that basically worked with any race.
Nice.
One of the players found a jar of the living venom armor from
Also
Eberron.
nice.
I'm forgetting a couple. I think someone also got a staff of power. Maybe I don't remember. It's just been so fucking long.
Sounds like you gave him too much.
Well, I rolled what the Illithid Lich via the monster manual, or what the DMG says a creature would have a horde of that type because he owned a magic shop. And so Illithid Lich is a pretty high fucking CR creature.
It is, yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. You did, although honestly, I have personally noticed too that the treasure hoard tables are maybe a little too generous.
Yeah. But they didn't find his phylactery and they didn't find the invitation. So the players are like, well, guess we still gotta go do that other job then.
So the two most important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So I'm curious. Did you finish the session with Paladin Man there? That session that he attacked the Mind Flayer, did you finish with him present?
I think basically what ended up happening was the session ended with him attacking the Illithid Lich. Then I think the next session we ended up having the big talk and then kicked them out. And then I think the session after that, I don't remember. I either did the Adventure League thing of he just disappears, he just evaporates, or I just had the Illithid Lich Power World kill him and he just fucking disintegrates. I don't remember which one. But basically, he exploded into dust and disappeared.
I like the Power Word kill option. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. And they're like,
Emperor,
oh no, the guy who's really good at killing undead is gone. Fuck.
Hey, Agnes, you ever heard of Wincest? Delete. Oh no.
But the players had to go off now, go do this other job so they get this fucking invitation. They basically signed up to it, and now it was that they had to go to this slave market that was being held in this kind of half circle Coliseum Stadium type of deal.
What's all the slave stuff, Matt? What you trying to say?
Drow, they deal in slaves, dude. It's just
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Read the fucking book. I'm telling you.
I'm judging a little. I'm just saying.
The job was that they had to go in one of the Drow houses, and this is so in Drow society, a Dragoloth is a blessing of all.
In Drows.
Yeah. So any Drow house that gains a Dragoloth is basically looked at as a big honor.
Aren't they mindless though? Don't you turn to a fucking crazy mindless demon monster?
Yeah, so a Dragoloth is basically when a Drow bangs a Glabrezu demon.
Yeah, it's a Glabrezu. But
and then gives birth to this horrifying thing. Yeah, it's basically just a big mindless Drow monster beast demon thing.
I love these things so much.
I'm just saying, it's a big honor, but also you turn into a brainless monkey monster.
Well, it's not you turn into it, you birth
Oh, you birth it. Oh.
Yeah, one of the priests sleeps with this demon that she summons. 9 months later, Dragoloth. Yeah, Drow society, horrifying. Again, I love all the lore, but some of it is fucked. And you're like, oh my god, these fucking.
Yeah, that's
what demon do they
It's a Glabrezu. It's the four-armed one with the big claws. red
Oh
skin.
no, it's not a. It's a Bulgara. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah, because they're the monkey ones with the 4 arms.
No, because the
Or is it
Dragoloths
Glabrus?
also have 4 arms.
I know. That's what I just said. Don't the.
Oh, the Krabby Boys.
Oh no,
yeah,
it's a
the
Glabrus.
yeah, they sleep with the Glabrus, I think. Yeah,
Glabrus.
yeah, because they sleep with them to get a Dragoloth. And so the drow house that was running the slave auction.
Wait, aren't they like
has a
size huge?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Don't think about it.
They're not huge. I believe they're large.
No, the Dragoloth is large.
No,
the Glabrus is huge.
No, Glabrus is large.
Oh, they're
Is it
large? I
large?
mean,
Oh,
look,
okay.
They're large.
they're still the size of a horse.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I like
Drow are
so
weird.
I was like the first sentence for the Dragoloth in 5e. A Dragoloth demon is created by an elf priest of Loth in an unholy, dangerous ritual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one way you can phrase
Dragoloth,
it.
sponsored by Bad Dragon.
She puts on her demon soda. And just
I
I'm
think-
ready.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but they've PG-13'd D&D a lot more these days.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just they're gonna fucking Midas that bitch. They're just gonna get inside the bull thing.
Jesus,
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyways,
Good
and so yeah, the
Lord.
players were told, they're like, all right, we don't like the Inquisitors didn't like the fact that this one house that owns the slave auction had a Dragoloth, and that was a big honor. So they're like, take out the Dragoloth in the middle, out in the open of the slave auction, make it known that it was that this other house did it, try to blame another house. And so the players are like, oh, we'll just blame Faye Branchy. Genius. So I can make them out to be even bigger dickheads than they already are. And so that happened. And during the slave auction, when the Dragoloth was basically like acting as a bodyguard, again, sniper boy. Just like, yeah, so I pull out my sniper in the middle, just stand up from my seat and just fucking cap him right in the head.
Yep, just catch him in the glicky. All right.
Yep. And it's like, okay. And so when that happened, a bunch of, obviously because they did this out in the open and they were told to make it look like another house did it, my players were just then starting to attack the other like drow that were running the slave auction and be like, yeah, fucking yo, House Faye Branchy, what up, bitch? And just stabbing the shit out of the drow slave owners.
No.
Just be like, yeah, yo, Faye Branchy, we're the best. Fuck every other house. Faye Branchy all the way. Look, we just fucked up your Dragoloth. What are you gonna do about it? Hey, yeah, Faye Branchy, what up?
The players just really like being terrorists, don't they?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But unfortunately, when that happened, a lot of the slave owners began summoning demons. And
Oh wow, I'm so surprised.
Yep. And some of the Webtropolis police force showed up. And then on top of that, to the players, well, most of the players' chagrin, except for the Shadow Monk, who was fucking delighted, the Shadow Blade showed up. So it was a giant knockout brawl. The Shadow,
Pale Drow.
the fucking everyone was fighting the Pale Drow. The Shadow Monk ended up, he found, because way early in the campaign, he found this poisonous mushroom and basically just jammed it down the Pale Drow's throat, being like, you will eat this fucking thing and you will like it and die. He's like, I want you to die the most horrifying way possible.
Yeah. You know, the more you talk about this, the more I'm like, maybe you should treat every instance of drow with a lot of respect.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Is it too late to take back what I said earlier?
I mean, no.
Because I'll take it back. Yeah, no, I'll take it back. It's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, after doing some terrorism and escaping the police and supposedly killing the Shadow Blade, but then he evaporated into a puddle of water, which confused my players.
Did he get away?
It was a simulacrum.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fucking
The players were like, I wasted my poisonous mushroom on a fucking snowman. Fuck.
Fuck.
But they escaped the cops yet again. They got their invitation, and now it's time to go to the Drow house party so they can finally get revenge and fuck up this Fae Branchy house once and for all.
Fantastic.
Yeah. A lot of heat, a lot of hoops, but yeah, he finally did. The gunsmith and the shadow monk both wanted to try, even though the NPC, their NPC, information broker guide told them not to try and sneak in. The two of them were like, nah, it's all right. We're the stealth team. Well, we're going to sneak into the building while the rest of you actually go to the party and just start, finding out what you can and like ruining their day.
Mm-hmm.
And so while the main group went inside, the gunsmith actually, he tried, and I found the map online, ended up buying it. It's a 4-story drow mansion building. I uploaded everything to Roll20, had different layers, different guards and other shit in every room. It was a fully fleshed out house. It was nuts. If I can find, I'll try and find the artist at some point and try and shout him out maybe on Twitter, but it was sick. It was a really, really detailed mansion, and it helped a lot for
Twitter.
Yeah, well, maybe on our Twitter.
Fucking fair enough.
I like how you just made it my job.
I was just thinking that.
I wasn't totally paying attention to what you were even saying, so I don't even know what you just made my job.
You're welcome.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So Drow, because their innate magical abilities, had the house obviously warded.
Yeah.
The gunsmith didn't realize that. So when he tried breaking into the window, trying to pick the lock of the top, the what do you call it, the rooftop door, activated a glyph of fireball. He managed to do a sick backflip to avoid blowing himself up. However, it activated one of the sentry guards, which I ended up rolling on a table for. And I don't know if you guys ever saw in Mordenkainen's Tome Foes. They're called the Retrievers. They're the big robot spiders.
Yeah, the ones that are immune to force damage. Yeah, baby.
Yep. They're the ones specifically sent into the demon plane, the Abyss, to kidnap Glabrezus to use for that
for the fuck ritual.
Yeah, the fuck ritual. Yeah.
So real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I keep being like, of course.
Yep. Yep.
This is not me. This is not me placing any undue judgment on Matt's players. This is just because me, as someone who has to think as a DM a lot, going, no, I would do that too. No, nope, that's exactly what I would do.
Because it was fun. And so the gunsmith basically had, he also, one of the other items, I forgot, one of the items they got from the magic shop was a cloak of the bat. So the gunsmith had it. So he was flying around avoiding the retriever at all costs, and he's like, all right, all the players had fucking sending stones so they can contact each other. So he's like, all right, I got this giant robot spider distracted. Shadow Monk, go inside, sneak through the roof. Rest of the party, don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck this up.
So he was doing that. Meanwhile, the rest of the party were basically going inside, talking to other drow, trying to spy on important Fae Branchy members, breaking into certain rooms, stealthing, grabbing important documents, setting up little distractions like lighting a fire in one room, closing the door, and then just kind of walking away, and hopefully, someone would notice.
Hopefully someone would notice.
Yeah. Trying to burn, maybe burn down the building. Who knows? They ended up finding a lot of incriminating evidence on the Fae Branchy house, and this is where they ended up learning about drow smuggling adamantine to the surface world for the Overlord. So they're like, of course the fucking Overlord's involved. God fucking damn it. Who would have think the BBEG's involved? Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thought, God damn you.
Chris the Shadow Monk ended up stealthing down, killing a couple of drow in his wake, hiding the bodies into the shadows, but he was basically playing Hitman while the other players were playing Spy.
Is he wearing the chicken suit too?
No, thank
Damn
God.
it.
But eventually he made it downstairs to basically a giant, open foyer ballroom. The three main rulers of the Fae Branchy house were these three sisters, each one a priest wearing adamantine fucking armor and decked out, and everyone's fucking flaunting over them. Chris ended up getting the idea because he saw a massive punch bowl that literally everybody was drinking out of.
Oh no.
During the fight with the demons that were summoned in between the shadow drow simulacrum, some of the players, and also this is when Descent to Avernus kind of came out, so they had the demon ichor table. Some of my players were like, Matt, can I harvest some demon ichor before the body disappears? So they had like 2 or 3 vials of the shit. So they ended up dumping in like 3 or 4 vials of demon ichor on top of the rest of the wild magic eye drops into this punch bowl.
God, I love terrorism.
Yeah, what is it with your players always going with the most like fucked up option possible?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
And so,
you know what? And also, you know what? Your players listen, right?
Yeah.
Matt's players, y'all need to chill. I'm saying this directly to you right now.
Y'all are like a consistent 12.
Listen,
Take that bitch down to
bring it down if you're not just...
Listen, these NPCs fucked with their stuff, so they want to fuck with their stuff back. Just,
No,
you don't need to.
I refuse.
You don't need to roofie the punch bowl. That's not necessary.
Y'all Heaven's Gate ass motherfuckers.
So after doing this, the players like disguised themselves as butlers, and basically started handing out the punch to every person imaginable in the party, to which was about a good 100 fucking people. So I didn't roll 100 times on both tables.
Oh my god, fuck.
But there was some horrifying, like a person, like I rolled up a couple of times, so there was a bunch of people who, like, one group literally turned into a potted plant and then cast fireball on themselves.
Oh my god.
There was one group who had their limbs elongated and then their heads popped off of their necks and were flying away.
So just body horror, just like
just
the
a ton of body horror
going on. Yeah,
body horror, magic, everyone puking rainbows. It was great. And while this was going on, because obviously something went wrong, the 3 Fae Branchy sisters, the priestesses, realized some shit was going on and then began looking around and discovered that, oh hey, there's some surface dwellers here, and began attacking.
As you do.
Which led to a big brawl out with them. Also, that the players ended up finding out, and I threw because I fucking love the stat block. There is a thing called the Drow Favored Consort, which is basically whoever's the ruling queen. Sucks, bud. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yep.
It's always specifically a dude. And so basically, I joked because the players they're like, "Oh, dude, he's so fucking hot! Oh my god!" He sees that a bunch of surface dwellers are attacking, other drow of this house of a party he got invited to. He's like, "Oh, I'll help out." And this dude's like they're like 18th level wizards. They're fucking powerful.
Damn.
Yeah. So the players were basically just having a giant brawl between these 3 drow priestesses, this one powerful drow mage, and a bunch of drow slave goons that the priests owned, and butlers. It was also at this time that Sammy came back for fucking hiatus for the umpteenth time and basically was like, "All right, guys, what are we doing now?" Oh, it's like the Donald Glover like meme with the pizza. Like,
yeah. What are we doing now? Committing terrorism mostly.
Yeah. So she sees this, and because she's now a 15th level, what do you call him? Barbarian, druid, totem barbarian. She's like, "All right, Matt, I'm gonna turn into a T-Rex." I'm like, can we just not, guys? All right, it's fine. It's fine. So she turns into a T-Rex. Everyone's fighting. Everyone's blasting. They have enough incriminating evidence that they're like, okay, we might be able to help out. And the Piece of Resistance, not in the magic item shop, but a little bit before that, before they actually went to the Underdark, my players ended up buying a Durin's Instant Fortress. I homebrewed it because I was like, hey guys, this magic item's a bit powerful, that it needed a 1 minute to activate it. Because normally you could just, as an action, you would just have this giant fuck off tower and it just fucks up encounters and it's annoying to deal with. So I asked when I talked to my players, I'm like, I'm going to homebrew that. It takes a minute to activate. And they were fine with it. So while all this fighting is going on, D-Rexes, Drow Priest, Drow Mage, fucking poisoning punch, all this stuff, the Shadow Monk hid the Durn into the fortress in the battle and the map, and basically like, all right, Matt, so I'm going to try and put it down this way, so when it summons, I want to try and attack these main support beams. I'm like, oh, I see. And so when in the middle of this fight, this giant fucking fortress shows up, knocking over 3 or 4 different support beams of this mansion, and basically half the mansion is collapsing on top of the players and the drow of this evil house that they're fighting.
I see.
Yep.
So, on top of the terrorism, we're also doing a lot of vandalism, I see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And as the players are escaping the half-collapsed building, they manage to capture one of the Feybranchy priestesses, one of the sisters, with them, and bring her back to their hideout where they interrogated her, and she basically spilled the beans on the Overlord helping them out, and the Dragon Cult, and what the hell was the deal with the Shadow Blade and turning into a puddle of water after they fought.
Should have turned into a puddle of piss.
Yeah.
Did you even just hear what I said, Matt?
Yeah.
No, he heard you. He just
casually said yes to what I just said.
Yeah.
Should have turned into a puddle of piss, and your response is yeah. I feel like you're not actually. You're just ignoring me. Okay. Okay.
It's better just to say that.
I see.
But yeah, so they learned from her that in exchange for the adamantine, the Overlord would help support Feybranchy house and help the 3 sister priests basically arise in the ranks of the House Feybranchy and basically begin trying to take over the rest of Webtropolis.
I hate the name Feybranchy.
That's the name.
I'm aware. I hate it.
Turns out that the mines that they were getting adamantine was held outside the city. So my players were like, "Ooh, shit, we could explore the Underdark." Oh god, that sounds awful.
Isn't the Underdark's just a lot of caves?
Yeah.
Not that exciting, really.
Well, it was mostly what they found in those caves. Like I think they fought a purple worm, giant acid monster. Like they had a couple of random encounters because I was like trying to figure out a good travel mechanic for the Underdark, and there wasn't any really.
No. Don't they have that in Out of the Abyss?
It's like a bunch of Drow patrol, because they're like in Out of the Abyss, you're prisoners who escape the Drow prison, and Drow are hunting you down.
No, I know, but I believe like they tell you that like, because you're only in the Underdark, there's a bunch of like tunnels that you have to go through, and they have to take that into account when you're doing travel. Don't they do anything like that?
I think they do. I don't think I used them because my players were level 15
Fair enough.
at the time. So probably some of the encounters were a little too low level for them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like adjusting and then fixing it. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just make my own.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So they got basically they explored the Underdark for a little bit. They made their way to where the mines were, and basically I had it that the mines were basically built inside this dragon bone graveyard. Think like Lion King elephant graveyard, but dragon bones. It's cooler.
Okay. Very fun.
Yeah. And at the entrance to these mines were being guarded by 2 ancient bone dragons. And so my players like, all right, dragons. Fuck. Oh yeah. And so my players like, all right, fuck. How do we do this?
True.
You're not the certified monster fucker.
My players were like, all right, how do we get past these bone dragons without actually fighting them? And because this is all, again, big, giant underground cave, graveyard, the Shadow Monk and Sammy the Barbarian, they snuck their way around and past the 2 golems, or these 2 bone dragon golems, and basically flew up into the air above them without being detected. And then Chris basically dropped Sammy. Mid-fall, Sammy turned into a mammoth and did so much bludgeoning damage that it just fucking exploded the bone dragons.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I wouldn't antics like that wouldn't bother me if the game had any fucking guidance on how to deal with that sort of nonsense, but it's just nothing. You're just on your own out there, Chief.
Yeah, because we were like, well, maybe it should be a wait, and I'm like, and it's like, well, what if it's just she just dealt the damage, and she also took, she basically took enough damage to get her out of the mammoth form.
I mean, yeah.
But then she was just back at like full health druid, and it's like, yay, and it's like, God fucking.
Like, I just.
Yeah.
Just something. Give me something, game. Because those kind of wacky fucking hijinks always happen. But the game has no guidance or rules. I mean, it's
a cool it's a creative way to like circumvent fighting something.
I know, it just gets me
like
frustrated because I immediately in the moment now have to sit there and be like, all right, I need to be a game designer on call in the moment right now, 5 minutes go. And I'm like, like.
Well, that's always the good part of, improv and using your imagination.
Imagination isn't about math, Matt. It's not the same thing at all.
Oh,
don't you come at me.
But yeah, so they got into the mines, which ended up being a big ass dungeon. I used there's a map in Dungeon of the Mad Mage that I'm not using in my current game, so it's fine. That is basically an underground mine with a whole like throne room area and a bunch of other like little side pocket places that the players could explore. So I was like, oh, this giant mine, this will be sick. I just have to change up some of the encounters to make it fit the story that's going on. Perfect. My players, they did the patented the Matt Colville screw, as they call it. They rolled so well on stealth that they just snuck through the entire fucking dungeon to get to the boss room.
That seems highly unlikely.
Yeah, well, they rolled so well. It was crazy.
Were you being lenient with how the stealth rules works?
No, because they literally like they did they played it. It's weird when it comes to stealthing. My players they like being super like strategic and like tactical with it. So that they would wait for patrols to like come and go and leave. They would perfectly try to snipe out somebody while someone would magically grab the body and then pull it over to them so nobody would notice, or try and cast
there's already an example of being lenient because there's no like stealth takedown rules.
Right.
So there was some you doing shit on the fly in this.
Well, it'd be like, all right, roll for initiative. What do you do? Then basically the players, they end up using a lot of their like abilities and stuff to like try and insta kill some of the like guards and goons and stuff, and then basically like casting silent so nobody would hear it, and then another player would run in and grab the body. So like again, they were strategic about it. It wasn't me being like, all right, you kill this guy, another guy grabs your body. It's like, no, they use the game to to their advantage.
I just 6 player characters snaking through an entire dungeon just seems very unlikely to me.
This was... Well, actually, yeah, they replaced Paladin with Sammy now. So, yeah, 6 people. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds sus.
Well, again, they snuck through the whole dungeon to get to the boss room. Now getting out, the place is going to be fucking alarmed.
I mean...
So they can't stealth out of that. They're going to have to fight, which they end up doing. They fight their way out. Like, it is very common thing in D&D.
I wouldn't call that common, sneaking through an entire dungeon. I don't know. I'd call that common. I don't know about that one.
You hear stories about it constantly on Reddit and shit, dude. It happens. Like, I don't know, Isaiah, is this like a rare occurrence for you? Like,
a whole dungeon? Yeah, it's pretty uncommon, but it's
bits and pieces. Sure.
I think if you have smart players, it is more common. And when I say smart, I don't literally mean smart. I mean like people who know the system more and know how to take advantage of it more, which your players seem to be very good at.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'd say it could be probably more common than what is usually expected.
Yeah. So they again stealthed their way through the whole thing, got to the throne room where all they saw was this giant black swirling portal. And they're like, all right, what the fuck is this? They see the Drow Shadowblade in there, Shredder, and basically he's like beckoning them to come into the portal and let's finish this. Let's finally put an end to this, rivalry that we've had, this nonsense of you guys trying to kill me and failing horribly. which the Shadow Monk did not like that. And so everyone jumped through the portal, which was a portal to the Shadowfell.
Oh.
Yeah, so home field advantage. So before this, the players were like, all right, well, how is the Overlord getting all the adamantine, but like obviously magic? He was the Drow dragon cultist because they were, again, shadow Drow, like half dragons. They were using the Shadowfell to transfer the adamantine to and from the material plane, like basically like a tunnel almost. And there was basically other teleportation circles placed in this section of the Shadowfell that these assassins would basically take all the adamantine, teleported back there. Then another teleportation circle would drop off on a gold or soldiers or whatever that the Overlord would give to the Dragon Cult, and then Dragon Cult would send those guys over to the House Fate Branchy, and then back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So seeing all that, and this I mentioned, I think, in our the villain video that we did, the Shadow Dragon guy, because now of all this stuff happening, I wanted to build him up as a big boss. This is like the only time I ever mostly from scratch had build a monster, because normally I would just like tweak a monster or like reskin someone or something, but this was like I took what the Shadow Blade did and I had to add to it, and it basically ended up becoming its own creature. I think I ended up getting it to it was like CR 16 if I did the math correct.
No, CR
but
math.
But he was a half shadow dragon, drow assassin, sorcerer, doing a lot of sneaky, stealthy shit, a lot of necrotic shadow, sorcerer magic, dragon breath, like all that shit. It was sick. It was really cool to play, really cool to use mechanically. Also, there was 2 adult blue shadow dragons the players had to deal with, and a ton of other like half shadow dragon drow goons. I think I also mentioned this in the villain episode that the fight took a long time because when the fight was happening, 2 of the players basically last minute was like, hey, I can't make it to the session. And I'm like, all right, in the middle of a boss fight. No. Fuck. So I scrambled to try and adjust the encounter so that it went from being, mega deadly to not a TPK. Because I'm like, I built this encounter specifically for 6 players, not 4. And so one of the things I ended up doing is I switched out some of the creatures I was using for these goons. And unfortunately, what I didn't realize at the time was all these goons had the mage stat block with a couple spells switched out and a couple assassin stuff and drow magic shit and put in there. All of them had counterspell. And I didn't realize that until the fight. And basically anytime the players would try to do anything magical, then there was a lot of these guys instant counterspell.
Did you have a bunch of fucking daisy chain?
No, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Counterspells until the players were like, well, we just don't have any more. And you went, game.
Yep.
Nice.
Like, I ended up counterspelling a couple of healing words, which they fucking hated, and I was like,
rude.
Ooh, I'm like, that's evil.
Yeah.
Good time.
So while half the party was dealing with all the goons and the 2 shadow dragons, I was trying to set up, because again, this is supposed to be Chris, the Shadow Monks, like this is his bad guy. This was his nemesis. I was trying to set up the Dragon Ball Z 1v1, like the Shadow Drow guy was trying to throw a ton of magic missiles at him, trying to poke him and be like, come on, let's go, me and you. Unfortunately, Chris didn't take the bait because he was trying to deal with all the goons and help his friends out.
Yeah, D&D players.
And so the other half of the party was fighting the fucking bad guy I made for Chris.
So you gotta hit him with the compel duel, fam.
Yeah, I should have.
It's a really underrated spell. I love Compel Duel so much, and it was used against me in my first game where I had to fight a Death Knight at like level 10 or something like that.
Shit.
Yeah. It was like leveled. It was a powered down Death Knight, but I was like, I want to fight him, but I gotta help my friends out. And then he was like, So he casts Compel Duel against you, and I'm like, I don't have to help my friends out. I can fight him.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to say Compel Duel, but you do, if you want to do the 1v1 thing, you do kind of have to force it to happen because the D&D player instinct is going to be, you know, work with the party. Like, there's,
yeah, exactly.
It's just impossible to get around.
Yeah, which I kept having him like, because he would be fighting like, you know, the Spore Druid and the Barbarian. Actually, no, the Spore Druid and who else was up in this grill? Oh, so he was basically fighting Joe's new character, the Spore Druid, and the pet Drake, like in melee, while throwing out a bunch of spells, trying to get at Chris's character. And throughout all the stuff, eventually he ended up knocking out Chris. Because he just kept throwing so many spells at him and being like, why are you not fighting me? Why are you ignoring me? I'm fighting a fucking dragon dog and a lizard man. This is not what we agreed to. Put those hands up.
Start throwing hands.
Yeah, it was great. And basically it got to the point where eventually he did the the misty step away from them, went over, stabbed Chris while he was unconscious, and was like, "You refuse to fight me? All right, so let's see how you like this."
Stab the shit out.
And eventually, Chris was like, "Oh no, I probably should have. I'm dying." And luckily, actually, funny enough, Joe's character got the last hit on the Shadow Drow and managed to murder him before he can fucking kill Chris. But it was a good fight. It was like, again, it took a lot of high level 5e. Fucking fights take fucking forever, but this was one of the good ones because there was so much. Like, two of the players were fighting the shadow dragons in the air. Sammy turned into a T-Rex again and was fucking kaiju battling one of the other shadow dragons.
Oh yeah, we had that too, except it was dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what? Let your players turn into a dragon. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Chris was dealing with most of the goons and the mobs, while Joe and the pet dragon Drake was fighting the big bad. But yeah, they beat him. A big nemesis. Finally, they got revenge. They grabbed his magic, Bluetooth MacGuffin item. And now they only needed one more to go. It was kind of like it was really cool, like a big nice end to like this arc of like fucking around the city, doing a bunch of terrorism, fucking messing around,
doing a bunch of terrorism.
Yeah, kind of espionaging and playing hitman in the Drow mansion party. Getting to explore the Underdark for a bit, this mine shit, and then leading up to this cool Shadowfell kind of boss fight. I was like, this is great. This is really cool.
And that's like, where the campaign felt like should have ended. Should have ended while you were
Yeah. But they grabbed the tooth. They basically fought their way out of the fucking dungeon. Because they're like, well, we avoided all the dangers. Oops.
A part of me wanted to be like, well, we killed literally everything that breathed here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go home.
Yeah, basically. Like, they killed most of, if not all of...
You didn't make it like a Skyrim dungeon with a convenient back exit?
No. They had to go back. They had to go... There's only one entrance. Well, two entrances. You count the Shadowfell. There's you can go through the Shadowfell if you want. But none of the players had plane shift.
You hit him with the enjoy the climb back up, bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, they fought their way back to the front door. They went back to the Drow City. They basically just toppled the rest of the mine so that the Overlord couldn't get any more adamantine. Cutting off his supply. They basically made sure they're like, all right, we need to kill every single one of these half Shadow Dragon Drow. Because, like, oh, fuck, we can't have, like, these existing. That's too much power. Yeah. They destroyed the Fey Branchy house, mansion, before they left. And so afterwards, they're like, all right, we got our item. We killed the bad guy. Let's go home. They went back to the surface world and level 16, baby.
All right.
I love that they ruined an entire, like, most likely ancient house's worth, like, evil people, to be fair. But they ruined dozens of lives.
Oh, yeah.
Who ain't done nothing to you other
happen
than
to know they
exist and be gray, and that's it.
This is kind of the point I was making, Isaiah.
Look, like I said, you might be pulling me over to your side a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, I did make, because again, I did specifically make, like Josh, you mentioned, like, if I was going to do drow, I'd pick a drow house. I did that. I specifically made, not every drow they met was evil.
Your players just decided to be psychoterrorists.
They just went fucking knob to 11. Like, we're going to fuck these guys up.
This knob goes to 11. Well, why don't you just make it the 10 louder? No, so you don't understand. This knob goes to 11.
Yeah, it goes to 11.
They just decided they were going to take matters into their own hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, after defeating, the Drow Dragon cultists and House Fae Branchy, now they last only one tooth to go in the Dragongor city of Calabrus. No, that's their name.
I hate the name.
That's their name, and I'm sick of it
so much. It's awful. What if you just
realizing that all this shit took 6 actual in-game months. Again, this was probably one of the most fun arcs running as a DM. But also, this took 6 fucking months. It added 6 months to my fucking game. Part of me wishes I cut content.
Yeah. I don't blame you. So I had this conversation with Paladin, one of my players the other day.
And not the same person. My Paladin.
Not the same person.
Not the same person. Yeah, no. My Paladin, the hemp Paladin, the Paladin of hemp, if you will. That's his Discord name. I don't want to use his real name. But yeah, he was like, no offense, but the only villain you've given us that's hit, like, the best villain you hit us with was Gator Man, Gariel, and no one else has hit that height yet. And I was like, that's true. And we had talked about it a bit, because I was like, I kind of wonder why that is. And I didn't take any offense to it, because I kind of agree, personally. I think that Gariel hit the hardest of everybody.
Went on for months.
For 18 months, yeah. So, like... It makes sense that he hit harder than everybody else, even though he wasn't supposed to. It's because they were like, fuck this guy.
They dealt with him the longest,
Yeah, they were like, fuck this dude in particular. He wasn't
supposed to, though. That's the thing, right? Like,
that's the funny thing.
He got out of hand.
What's the same thing with the Shadow Blade? I just ran him originally as a goon, and then eventually he became Chris's arch nemesis.
We need the Wreck-It Ralph, like, villain AA, but it's like villains who weren't as evil as they were made out to be. So it's the Pale Drow and my guy Gariel being like, hi, my name's Gariel. I was supposed to be a villain 3 arcs later, but they really didn't like me, so they fucking murdered my ass in a fight pit. Hi, Gariel.
Rebellion from my game strolls in. He's like, I don't really know what I'm doing with myself, I'm gonna be honest.
So I was a villain, and now I'm kind of an anti-hero. I don't really know where I fit in, but they still want to kick my ass, so I'm not really sure where I sit.
Yep. Good times.
We want to kick Rebellion's ass into unconsciousness, not to death.
Fair enough.
There you go.
And then the dredge.
Just one swift kick in the nads. Rebellion. That's all we need.
One swift kick.
Like, just let us have this moment, and even Stevens. Like,
I need the Deadpool cock shot. Just fucking
give each of us one solid kick, and then we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta do the critical roll, like one flick in the nuts backs, and
just one flick to the ghoulies.
It's like I would like to rage, and you're like,
the fucking scene in Chainsaw Man when they kick the dude in the balls over and over.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, when he fucking destroys Aki by kicking him in the dick like 8 times.
No, it was when they kicked Katana Man in the dick.
Oh yeah,
Katana Man at the end. They're like, these bells are tolling for you. Bing.
I love that they hit the strongman bell sound every time. Ping, ping. You're like, oh, Jesus. The only thing that would have made that funnier is if they had done the dodgeball ping sound. dodgeball makes a very specific sound when you peg
The
someone in
rubber
the face
ones,
with it.
Yeah.
Ping, and you're like, oh god, I don't know what that was, but it looked like it hurt.
It's a
Or sounded like it anyway.
very distinct noise.
Yeah.
Very. But Drow are fun. Drow are cool. They're
Webtopia.
very cool bad guys.
What
very
did you
cool.
call it? Web of what?
Webtropolis.
Webtropolis.
God damn it.
Yeah, the city down under.
Instead of Metropolis, it was the web.
Yeah, it's Webtropolis down under where we make the spiders on the Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love her.
Loth,
Dude.
big fan of that chicky cunt.
Do Drow eat spiders?
Probably.
No, because Drow, because they worship spiders. There's actually I think this is an Out of the Abyss or the Menzoberranza book, where if a Drow accidentally steps on a spider or kills a spider, Loth immediately sends like judgment down on them and like will mutate them. Like,
damn.
There's a thing in Out of the Abyss of a guy who's basically half his face is spider, because one day he accidentally stepped on a spider at a shrine to Loth, and she was like, "Don't like that."
I'd like to imagine
Murked.
you're just walking around your house. You got your fucking slippers on, coffee in your hand. You're just strolling through the living room. You just hear a crunch noise underfoot, and you look down. You're like, "Oh fuck!" Just lightning bolts.
Well, because you think about it, like spiders can thrive in pretty much any dark environment.
Yeah,
And they get, and some spiders can get fucking, especially in D&D, they get humongous. So like,
Oh yeah. Well, that
spiders would probably be a pretty good source of like protein.
Food, yeah.
you'd think.
Let it be known in my setting, Drow eat spiders.
Nice. Appreciate you. But like also like Lulth's dead, so like it's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You're gonna have that one Drow who's just tap dancing on spiders, being like, "Touch me now, spider bitch."
She was probably never even alive in the first place, so it's fine.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun fact. So Dryder are considered like scum in Drow society.
Which makes no sense.
They are like Drow priestesses who like failed their like final test to Lulth.
But they're
Oh, I
So
remember
she grants them power by turning them to half spiders, but then that just shows you're weak and that you couldn't pass like fucking made up nonsense test.
though. Okay, wait. You failed your test, so I'm gonna turn you into the animal we worship, and that's a
No,
punishment.
you're like a half spider, half lady.
Yeah, I know, but like, still.
It's shown as this sign of weakness that you couldn't pass this test, so Lulth had to turn you to a monster to make you more powerful. Therefore, in Drow society, you are weak and you should basically purge from the kingdom. It's weird.
I would understand that if she turned them into like slug people or something like that, but you're turning them into the animal that everyone worships. So wouldn't everyone
they're half
worship
Drow.
them?
They're
It's
half
still
spiders.
Well, so I think the idea, right, is like, I have to make you stronger. You were such a loser
I
that
get
you
that
couldn't do
part.
it the way you were.
I get that part, but the choice of animal, like turn them into like fucking half purple worms or something instead.
That'd be a worm boy.
Yeah, make them worm bar. Yeah, like
Worm boy.
And it's funny because after this, there was a while too where after like before running Strixhaven, I was thinking of writing and trying to come up with a Underdark like a new campaign basically, because of how much I enjoyed running this and like wanted to go back to this world and use more material and maybe different characters. Maybe all the characters were Drow, maybe not.
What Matt's saying is he has a Drow kink.
Yeah, dude, they're cool. Drow are cool. Fucking quote Sam. Drow are cool.
Did you hear what I said?
All right, insert thing here is cool, Sam. Me inserting the word Drow. Drow cool.
Did you not? Never mind. I said you're horny for them. That was what I was saying.
Oh, that too. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fucking, there's a lot of hot Drow out there, dude.
All right. I guess.
Fucking bondage elves. Like, what can I tell you?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
God damn it.
Don't Driders use like a weird sword made out of a very specific metal?
Rider? I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck
I remember
you're
that
talking
like
about.
I fought a Drider in my original game, and I believe Ant was like, oh yeah, so fun fact, they have a sword made of something called Arendur, which is like a special metal that I believe they used to make like they make like a specific weapon out of it. I could be wrong. This could be
It
Ant
could
just
be the
making shit
material
up.
they use to make the retrievers, because that's also made of special metal. Like Drow because also Drow, they're really highly advanced magic and all that. So they are able to figure out how to make these retrievers. They're basically just magical constructs made out of this super incredibly dense mineral. And they have them all over. That's the other thing. Retrievers, not only do they send them out into the abyss to capture demons, they are used as guards for all the houses. They are used as guards for their special, I don't want to say magic school, but they have a special magic school where all the priestesses get trained, all the mages get trained, and all the assassins get trained. So they're kind of all over the place.
Oh, Matt, you could have run Strixhaven Drow Edition.
I could have, yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, because I also, there's old Dragon Magazine article with an adventure on it about this drow girl who believes she's the daughter of Lolth. And it's the adventure of going into the demon pits, Lolth's like demon web pits, and basically getting this girl, and basically you're playing like double agents.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it fucking Maori in 5e?
No,
you are the mother.
No, but it's basically you're trying to go with her and see her rise to become, basically take Lolth's place, and then in that moment take her out. So you're like, okay, cool. We not only is Lolth gone, but now this new demon DD girl is gone. So we just saved the universe. We saved we saved D&D guys.
You're awesome.
Yeah. And it was basically like this suicide mission. And I'm like, this sounds like such a cool fucking campaign, like not campaign, or like mini campaign idea, like 3-5 sessions maybe. And I want to run it in 5e. I just got to like get better maps, because the maps, you're really bad in the magazine. Like it's fucking not playable.
Me and Matt truly are the duality of man. Matt's looking for more reasons Matt's looking for more things to run in 5e, and I'm looking for every possible excuse to never touch it again.
Who hurt you?
Huh?
Who hurt you?
We're not doing this right now. You know the answer to this question, and we're not doing it right now.
But
it was me. I heard him.
Good.
Django heard him.
I mean,
fabricate.
Certainly
More
a factor. Certainly a factor.
But
Fabricate 32 AC. It's fine.
Hell yeah, dude. Now you just got multi-class in the Blade Singer and get that shit even higher.
Never. I refuse. I'm going Artificer all the way, baby.
Nice. But yeah, next time I end up hosting in like 3 months. Dragonborn City. Bad Dragonborn. My version of
3 months, Matt. So it's only 3 weeks.
Whatever. My version of fucking Knights of Arabian, but Dragonborn. The sand desert city, cool shit. Play with a lot of different cultures and stuff, and mixing them in with Dragonborn. Need stuff next time.
I see.
Yeah. My second favorite race besides Drow, Dragon people. Yeah, but thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to listen to Josh earlier, like, follow, subscribe, all that nonsense. I guess, guys, you have any last words before we roll on out of here?
It's okay to kill Drow indiscriminately as long as you're only fighting Drow fighters and not Drow civilians. As long as they attacked you first, you can kill the ones who attacked you and nobody else.
I'm gonna just say follow us on Twitter.
Don't be a terrorist.
Don't be a terrorist. Yeah, don't be.
But if you are going to be a terrorist, leave a review on us first.
Yeah.
Jesus, no.
So like, what you definitely shouldn't do is you shouldn't try to steal from a mafia house for a shirt and then get caught and then run out and then thunderstep into the middle of an open crowd in the middle of Neverwinter and kill like 40 people. Don't do that. Bad. Hilarious. Bad.
Way to go with the hyper specific.
Look, sometimes you gotta just be specific, okay? It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And with that,
later, y'all.
Crikey, praise Lolth, Demon Queen of the Abyss.